Hi, one of my favorite plugins is Smart Colorizer. It's also for sale on JuiceBar, and I like it very much. And I put it on JuiceBar very cheap because I think everybody should use this type of colorizer. And what I mean by that is a colorizer that maintains your whites, because the white light is the full brightness of our screens, and we want our brightness to use the brightness to let everything pop. And when you lose your brightness, in the case of green, you lose like 60% of your brightness. So I want to keep my white pixels all the time, and I hate to lose them. And that's why I love this colorizer. So I thought we can build them together. So let's open a new patch and let's start from scratch. So we want to add a colorizer, and this is the default behavior, so you lose all your whites. The colorizer can use a palette as an input, so this means you can drag in all the videos you want. And the default video is a bit extreme maybe. So this happens when you add a video to your colorizer. It's very extreme, but you can use a gradient there. And this contrast is too low. Why doesn't this work? We're on the wrong axis. So you can use a gradient here also, but this gradient gives us not a lot of control because we can only use two colors, and now we have to add effects here to change everything, and this is all in pixel space, so in GPU space, which is space we want to reserve for other things. Now you see we're like 250 to 20 frames per second, so we lost a lot here. So we can do that with in the floating space. So we use the texture from data and a linear, and now all these this is all floating points, so this is quite quick, and we are back with some gradients. In the texture to data you can see it uses the amount of instances, in this case 10, to create pixels, so we have 10 by 1 pixels. And when we want to have color here, we can multiply this by a color we like. And now we can see we added color. The problem with this is that this is floating point in float 1, and colors are float 4. So we like to convert that to float 4, and we only want a gradient in the RGB channels, so those are the first 3, and the 4th will be our alpha. We want our alpha to be solid, so we don't want to have an array in the 4th channel. And now you see we have black pixels here, and we have our default gradients back into our colorizer. So this is very nice, but we want to add our white pixels to this. What we can do is we can crossfade a 1 in there. So we have our default, and we can crossfade white in there. This is very overblown. What we can do, we can add a curve to this here. And now if we switch back, we can see our whites are back. And this was very quick. If we want to control, this, we can crossfade. In floating points, you cannot add a crossfade in the wire, which is very annoying. You can do it in video, because originally it is a video effect, like you see here. There's video there in the description, but you cannot add it to floats, which is a shame. Let's organize this a bit. So now we can do we want to do it like this? No, I think we want to do it on this side, because otherwise it already first curves. Yeah. So this will be our addition. Nice. So now we built that. A very powerful feature of my Smart Colorizer is fade time, and that is very easy. Just add a smooth here. So now when you select a different color, it's fading towards that color. You can add output your duration if you want. I think I used fixed amount. So, and I think I used BPM. Frequency to BPM. Yeah, I don't know how I did this, but so 1, 2, 4, and 8. I think I did something like this. Yeah, no, it's very, very slow. I think I reverse this and do it like that. Oh no, sorry guys. I forgot how I did this. Because it's very slow now. Yeah, now this is better. And now you have those nice fade times. I don't think it corresponds to the BPM this way. It's a way to do it, but check it out a bit more. Yeah, let's continue. One additional feature I like very much is the U-rotate. Because this is in float 4, we can U-rotate this. And when I use it like this, it rotates everything. But when I use the integers, it uses this gradient to U-rotate. It's not really a gradient, but Yes, but this is too much. So let's add a multiply and 0.2. This is better. When we export this, so now we have a input output -1, 1, and let's multiply this by 0.5. So now we can shift the colors around. What you're seeing is that the color we choose, the red, is inside behind the black, so it's not something we want. What we need to do for that is to reverse this array or this array of instances, and we have a reverse node for that. So now our red is behind the white. Oh, my addition is reversed, so let's do that. So now you see that the whites are staying the color we chosen, and you can shift the black parts, and this way you get a very subtle gradient in your colors, and I like that very much. So let's have a look. I think that is the most of it, and you can, this floating point space is very efficient, so you can use a mapping to make everything, what do we say, more gray, or more contrasty. So you can use a mapping to create more contrast or a gamma correction or all kinds of things. And it's very nice because it's all in CPU space and not in GPU space. So you see my frame rate is still very respectable. So you can build a very light plugin and a colorizer which you want to apply on all your layers or all your videos. You need to have it very lightweight. So this is a very easy way, easy-ish way to make that happen. So build your own, break it, fix it, make it yours, and have fun.